Here we are again from COP27. This is our second video. I'm Miranda Barker. I'm the Chief Executive of East Lancashire Chamber of Commerce.
And I'm Stephen Sykes, and I'm the Director of Sustainability for East Lancashire Chamber of Commerce, looking after the low carbon programme. I'm also co-founder and director of the 2030 Hub in Liverpool.
So this is the end almost of the first week at COP27. So we've managed to visit the blue zone and the green zone, haven't we, Steve?
We have. For the viewer, I'm sure we have one at home. Basically, COP is set into the two zones. The blue zone is controlled by the United Nations, and security is very, very high. And that's where you've got all the ministers, you've got the UN organizations, and that's where all the discussions are taking place and where all the various sessions are taking place. We then have the green zone, which is a physically separate zone, and that's more open to civil society and open to the general public to actually look at the various pavilions in there, where there's, for COP27, there's quite a lot of environmental art. There's a government pavilion, there's a finance and higher education pavilion, and the other pavilion was
there were business ones as well.
Yes, and as well as two pavilions where presentations are taking place, where, like I say, people can actually participate in those. So we've had quite a full week. Clocking up over 10,000 steps a day, walking around the estate, because the blue zone is separated into blue. And just to add to confusion, there's a green zone in the blue zone, as well as a red and a gold. And being in the right place at the right time for the right session has proved to be a bit of a challenge.
It was. We were guests of the Egyptian British Chamber of Commerce in the green zone for their events, which was great. And we also got to sit in on some of the official negotiations. Now, the negotiations around the whole Paris Agreement and what COP's going to commit the countries to actually improving their climate position is split into the 2 weeks as well. The first week is very much the technical and procedural conversations, getting all the draft text ready. And then the second week is when the politicians come back and really start tearing that apart and seeing if they are ready to sign up to those conversations. So that's what we've got to look forward to over the next week, to hear about those things. But it was really enthralling being in the discussions and seeing the etiquette, wasn't it, of how these things happen.
Some of the sessions are open sessions. So as observers, we were allowed to sit in those sessions, not to contribute, couldn't actually make any statements or anything. So we just sat at the back and watched how the text is put together. And it's gone through line by line,
word by word,
line by line, paragraph, and they agree what the paragraph is. So it is extremely technical, but the etiquette was fascinating.
It is. Everybody's got one of those name badges like you see on the television with your Philippines or United Kingdom. And if you want to say something, if you imagine your sort of badges like that on your table, and if you want to say something, you stand it up on the end like that. And then they go and they
and
call
then the
on
chair
you
recognizes you. Yes.
Yeah. And then if they want to actually go and have a little private hubbub because they disagree with each other, and they can break into little private sessions, and then they go like this, so nobody can lip read what they're saying to each other.
But it's all done within the procedure, as in the delegate will ask the chair, can they have a quick recess? And it could be a discussion with the team behind them. It could be a discussion with another nation at the other side of the room. And again, there'll be this little hushed whispers, so you don't know what's going on. You don't know then they'll come back and then they'll put their statement forward. Equally, sometimes the secretariat will actually say, we're going to have a recess. And the secretariat will huddle together to assess the procedural way to take things forward. Now, I was in the global stocktake final draft, and that was fascinating because they were on a time limit. And that's the other thing to bear in mind, that they are on time limits. Things have got to be done by 4 o'clock. The document has got to be done to actually forward to ministers for agreement later. But we'd got to 3:45, and there was a real sticky point regarding a paragraph. The one or two member states wanted to be deleted. Other member states were unhappy. So the Secretariat just went and said, we're holding everything at that point. Everybody who has an issue with this paragraph, can we all meet at the back of the hall? So it all gets thrashed out there and then. I have no idea what the outcome was, but it all got thrashed out.
We'll wait and see what happens with the politicians next week.
Yes.
We're going to bring you 3 short videos today, and we'll run through what they all are, piece by piece, and let you see those. So the first one today.
The first video is our good friend Martin Bax, who's the Deputy Chief Executive of IEMA, the Institute of Environmental Management and Assessment. Now, we knew Martin was coming out because Martin is at everything that is to do with the environment, whether it's ISO or COP. So we had a very good chat with him on the CGI stand, and as you can tell, for those who saw some of our photographs from COP26, we always get a photograph with a globe, and that's where we got the globe this year.
So here's Martin.
So we're here today at COP27 with Martin Baxter, who's the Deputy CEO of IEMA. So first of all, Martin, do you want to introduce yourself and IEMA to us?
Yeah, well, thanks, Miranda. I'm obviously Martin Baxter, Deputy Chief Executive at IEMA. We're the global professional body for people working in sustainability. And in my role, it's external facing. So I do a lot of work internationally with the International Standards Organisation. But also in the UK, I'm a member of the government's Green Jobs Delivery Group. So how do we create 500 million well-paid green jobs by 2030?
And that is the key, isn't it? Because every industry is going to need green jobs. And actually, Lancashire is identified as the area in the UK with the most potential green jobs. So I hope that actually does happen. So what are you thinking to get from that?
Well, I think there are 2 things. So one is, I want to hear from people from around the world, because if we're looking to support people on a journey of driving change and scale, we need to know how they are perceiving it. The great thing about being here at COP is that because we have members of many countries, actually meeting members from around the world, it's so nice to hear their experiences and also to be able to share. So that's one thing. But also what I want people to recognise is that if we don't get the skills and capability right, then we're never actually going to drive change. And change is hard, and people have to be part of it. So building up those profiles and getting people behind a whole global change code is what I'm here to help to shine the light on, catalyse, share ideas, and hopefully get things moving.
Indeed. A large part of what the chambers do is to try and drive government forward in the right direction. So what do you need to happen from our local and national government in the UK or worldwide to unlock that potential that you're talking about?
I think it's really important to start to look at the interdependence between different sectors and to start to plan not just what skills we need in this transformation, and which one will be impacted. And, there will be some businesses or some sectors which won't have a long-term future because they're part of that eco chain, which is dependent on fossil fuels, but actually then translating that into opportunity. And so there's a real sequencing challenge about how we plan that workforce transformation economy-wide and in places, so that we give people the opportunity to part of the solutions to the climate challenges that we face, and actually help them to succeed in the years.
And we both know that happens. Thank you very much for being with us today, Martin Baxter. Thank you.
So our next video, also taken on the CGI stand, was with one of IEMA's NEDs, non-executive directors, who also happens to be the director of sustainability at CGI, and this is Matty Yetter.
So I'm here today with Matty Yetter, at COP27. Matty is a non-executive director of IEMA. So first of all, Matty, do you tell us about this summit?
Thank you very much. In addition to being the non-executive director for IEMA, I'm the chief sustainability officer for CGI, which is responsible for this globe behind here. And I am also a tutor and a researcher myself. For COP27 this year, we've partnered with the host nation, the Egypt government, to support the UNFCCC to demonstrate the role of technology for climate action. We believe that technology can reduce at a minimum 14% of the world's global emissions. These are the reductions needed by 2030, and at a maximum 50% of the world's global emissions by 2050. So we firmly believe that technology has a big role to play. As CGI, we use satellites to monitor biodiversity and natural capital in land globally in 40 countries. So for example, in Indonesia, we monitor peatlands. As you know, peatlands are both a contributor, but also if well managed, they can absorb quite a lot of carbon. In the UK, we've developed the seagrass across the coast, seagrass accounts, and we're also providing insights for Project Seagrass. Here at COP, we've built the Metaverse solution, which is the solution that is aiming to bring those people that are not able to come to COP to join those people here at COP through the Metaverse. That way, we're being inclusive in addition to reducing participation.
That's fascinating. I mean, peatlands, which obviously in the north of England we have a lot of. I know that if they're badly managed, they then become a huge carbon source, don't they? So, and I'm very interested in the fact that you're championing the role of technology, because we also run a project that I chair called Red Hands locally in Lancashire, and that is all about supporting accelerated development and export and global utilisation of low carbon technology. So I'm fascinated to hear about what you're doing, and maybe we can put some links in our communication about what you're doing. So can you tell us, what do you want to see from COP? What do you need the world leaders to do?
So I think the key word is what everybody keeps saying: action, action, action. I think we're past the point of talking about what is climate change, what we need to do, what is it. I think everybody knows we need to do something. We need to take bold actions now. And in order to do that, we need to have technology as a partner.
Technology, finance, the facilitating.
Yeah,
that's what we need the commitment to, isn't it? Absolutely. Thank you very, very much, Matty. It's good to see you.
Thank you, Miranda. Thank you.
And now for our voice from the Northwest, Professor Chris Dent from Edge Hill University, who we've known for a few years, and we've worked on several things together. And he's going to tell you a bit more about what we've got planned.
Hello, this is Professor Christopher Dent here at Edge Hill University, and I am the leader of SustainNet, and I have been asked to answer the following 3 questions. So the first question is, what are you currently doing with respect to community engagement in the area of climate and sustainability? So we are planning at Edge Hill to host a big climate and environment kind of summit event of some kind for Lancashire on the 17th of May 2023, and we're in consultation with a number of people about what that event should look like and who should be invited to it, and so on and so forth. We're in the consultation stage of this, but essentially what we want to do here at Edge Hill is to help Lancashire achieve its climate and environment goals and priorities going forward. The second question is, what can the UK or local government do to facilitate you in this activity? Well, we are talking to a number of local government people from the different councils, 15 different councils in Lancashire, and some others as well, and other important stakeholders that will help us design a good event and consider what to include and who to invite. And also, of course, what the outcomes of this event should actually be. Thirdly, what would you like to see come out of COP27? Oh, goodness gracious me, where does one start? on answering that question? Well, I would like to see, ideally speaking, some pretty important, ambitious, firm commitments to actually do something substantive on climate action, whether it's reducing carbon emissions, whether it's on helping provide finance for low-income countries to cope with climate change risks and adaptation. Essentially, change, because something's got to change. I was asked on the radio, local radio this week, Radio Merseyside, is this COP27 an important COP? And I said that here on after, every single future COP is going to be increasingly important, because we are soon going to be reaching tipping points. Scientists tell us that we will not be able to reverse the cascading climate damage caused unless we take action urgently. So I think really what I'd like COP27 to do is to acknowledge and realise that in fact serious climate change is something that we need to avoid and take action on in the next few years, not the next few decades. So a greater sense of urgency and also more substantive action, essentially. That's what I would like COP27 to do, because, there have been some good COPs, not many. There have been some bad ones, but most of them have been indifferent and forgettable. So at the end of the day, I would not like us to forget what happened at COP27 for the right reasons. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.
So that's the end of our second episode. We hope we've still got a few viewers watching. It's a slightly mad process, but just to give you a foretaste of what's to come, our third video, we will bring you Julia Groves, who's the new Sustainability Director at the British Business Bank, me doorstepping Grant Shapps.
Which I caught on film, and you'll see the perfect way that Miranda has managed to, and we've planned. We knew where he was coming. She knew where to jump in, and I had the camera ready. The sound was shocking, and therefore that's why I got Miranda's voiceover.
And then we'll introduce you to some of our Northwest technologies that we sincerely hope will get Grant Shapps up to see. So that's your foretaste of video 3. Thank you.